Hello and welcome to AI Agents News. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jordan. We're here to break down the biggest stories at the intersection of AI, business, and culture for the week of June 18th, 2025.
We've got a packed show today. We'll be talking about a major breakthrough in AI that never stops learning, the legal battles heating up around AI training data, and how Washington's policies are sending ripples through the business world.
Plus, a consumer warning about a popular workout supplement that might not be what it seems. Let's get into it.
So, Jordan, the big story that's buzzing in the AI world this week comes from MIT scientists. They have developed a large language model that can learn continuously, on the fly.
Okay, so what does on the fly learning actually mean here? Because current models get updated, but it's a huge, intensive process.
Exactly. Right now, to teach a model like ChatGPT something new, you essentially have to retrain a huge part of it. This new method allows the AI to absorb new information and skills without forgetting what it already knows. The researchers are calling it a step toward AI that continually improves itself.
Wow, that feels like a significant piece of the puzzle for getting to what people call superintelligence. It's starting to sound less like science fiction.
Well, you're right on the money there. This news comes just as Meta has announced it's creating a brand new lab dedicated specifically to pursuing superintelligence. The race is definitely on.
It's not just theoretical, though. We're also seeing moves that impact developers right now. What's this about LiteLLM?
Right, so for anyone building with AI, this is fantastic news. LiteLLM is a new Python library that basically acts as a universal translator. It lets you use one simple API to connect to ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or dozens of other models.
So, no more vendor lock in. If a new, better model comes out tomorrow, you can switch to it almost instantly without rewriting your whole application. That's a game changer for keeping up with this rapid pace of innovation.
It is. And speaking of keeping up, OpenAI is making its own moves, dropping the price on its O3 model by a massive 80% and releasing a more powerful version, O3 Pro. They're clearly feeling the heat from competitors and want to keep developers in their ecosystem.
That makes sense. More accessibility, more competition, but it also leads to more conflict, which seems like a good transition to our next topic here on AI Agents News, the legal chaos.
It is definitely chaotic. The big headline is that AI companies are being hit with major copyright lawsuits. We're talking Disney, Universal, and even Reddit suing firms like Anthropic and Midjourney.
And this all comes down to training data, right? They're alleging their content, movies, news, user posts, was scraped and used to train these AI models without permission or payment.
That's the core of it. These lawsuits could fundamentally redefine the rules for how AI is built. It's a massive clash between content creators and the tech giants building the future.
And this friction between established industries and new political realities isn't just happening in the courts. It's happening with federal policy, too.
Absolutely. We're seeing a flood of stories about the business impact of the Trump administration's policies. For one, major companies are now officially warning the Securities and Exchange Commission that the threat of mass deportations poses a serious risk to their business.
I saw that. They're pointing out that with ICE arrests having more than doubled, they are deeply concerned about workforce stability across the entire U.S. economy. It's a direct alarm bell from the business community.
At the same time, you have the ongoing drama with tariffs. Companies like eBay and Vestiaire Collective are lobbying for an exemption for second-hand goods. Their argument is that they shouldn't face duties on items being given a second life.
That's a fascinating angle. But while they're asking for exemptions, it sounds like other companies are just trying to get around the rules entirely.
They are. The number of complaints and tips about companies evading tariffs has jumped 160%. It's created this strange environment of corporate whistleblowing, with teepsters trying to keep importers in check.
So, you have a push for legal exemptions on one side and a crackdown on illegal evasion on the other. It's incredibly messy.
It is, and this theme of economic disruption continues in another story we're tracking. There's a new book out called Bad Company, which chronicles how private equity has reshaped, and in the author's view, damaged major American industries.
I've heard about this. The book argues that the model of buying companies, loading them with debt, and stripping assets has hollowed out everything from local newspapers to hospitals.
Exactly. It paints a pretty grim picture of what it calls the death of the American dream, but it also highlights how workers in those industries are now starting to fight back. It's a really powerful read.
That sounds like a heavy but necessary story. Now, before we go, Alex, I think we have time for one more story that's a bit of a consumer alert.
We do, and this one is pretty surprising. It turns out those popular creatine gummies you see all over social media might be a complete sham.
You're kidding. Creatine is one of the most popular workout supplements out there, and the gummies are marketed as a convenient alternative to the powder.
Well, according to a new investigation, some of the best-selling gummies available online were tested and found to contain little to no creatine at all. In some cases, you're basically just buying expensive candy.
Wow, that's a classic case of an unregulated booming market leading to scams. A real buyer beware situation.
It certainly is. And that's all the time we have for this week. From self-improving AI and legal showdowns to tariff disputes and fake supplements, it's clear the world is not slowing down.
Not at all. The pace of change continues to be relentless. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thanks, Jordan, and thanks to our listeners for joining us. We'll be back next week with more on AI agents news.